Hey everybody, this is Andrew here at PressBox Stats. This video, we're going to go over the penalty screen. So here from the home screen, you can see the penalty button there, and you would use this button here for a dead ball penalty, or if you wanted to enter a penalty to override a play that whose stats wouldn't happen. Maybe it was enforced from the line of scrimmage. So let's go ahead and enter a dead ball penalty. It's going to be 1st and 10 and the 20 for Kenai Central. So let's go into penalty and check out what the screen looks like. So within here, I'm going to go describe what the screen is, and then we'll go into a couple of different versions or examples of a penalty here. So for the very top, you can change the team, Kenai Central or Triway. This one's going to be a false start in Kenai Central, so we're going to choose them. For the penalty type, you have a list of penalties here, and you'll see the default yardage for each penalty. You can override the default yardage, but at least it gets you for the most of the way there. It'll automatically apply some yardage for you. Let's go also way down here. You'll see there's other 5, other 10, and other 15, just in case you couldn't find the one that you wanted. So for now, we're going to choose false start, which is 5 yards. And down below, we're going to skip accepted, declined, and offsetting. I recommend always using accepted for now. That's the one that you're typically going to need for the stat book. So here in forced from, you have 3 options. You have line of scrimmage, spot a foul, and end of play. Most of the time, you're going to be choosing line of scrimmage or end of play. So line of scrimmage is pretty simple. That's one of those situations where a penalty happened that either is going to override the play. So if you choose line of scrimmage, the play stats will not count, or something that happened behind the line of scrimmage. So they just enforce it from the line of scrimmage with some of the new rules that in the some NFHS states for penalties. So in this case, a false start would be from the line of scrimmage. But I'm going to explain the other situations here in just a second. So the next one I'm going to explain is end of play. So end of play, let's say that it's a 10-yard run and then a face mask on the defense that's 15 more yards tacked onto the end. You would hit end of play, and you'll notice that what would happen is it would add that whatever yardage it is for the penalty you chose, it would just automatically add that to wherever the end of the play was. And then the spot a foul, we'll go and do an example of spot a foul in a little bit. But for now, let's go ahead and finish our false start. The false start from the line of scrimmage, and I'll hit next. And it was 1st and 10 from the 20. Now it's 1st and 15 from the 15. And you can see down here, it will have the play-by-play down there. So now let's go ahead and do a play. We're going to do a run play. It's 1st and 15, so let's give him a 10-yard run. Bob Ross is our running back today. And there is a penalty on the play. So let's hit penalty. And this is going to be one of those. So it was 1st and 15, only a 10-yard run. We're going to have this penalty take them past the first down marker. So you could put a tackle here if you wanted to. So the penalty is going to be on the defense. I'm going to swap over to Triway, and I'm going to say it was an excessive face mask. And I'm going to hit the end of play option. So right now you see the enforced 2 is from the 30 because the line of scrimmage defaults to is what the default is. But if I change it to end of play, the play went from the 15 to the 25. And then if you tack on 15 yards, that would take it to the 40. That's why the enforced 2 defaults to the 40. Now, if the referee accidentally walked it off incorrectly, you could change it a yard or 2, depending on wherever the referee marked the ball. Let's go ahead and hit next. And now it is 1st and 10 on the 40 because you'll see here, it took them past the first down marker. Let's go ahead and do another one. Let's do another run play. I could do passes. It's all the same thing. It's just a little bit quicker to do a run play. Let's do a run play here. Let's say I'm going to run the ball 8 yards downfield. But let's say there was a hold behind the line of scrimmage. So I'm going to make sure I hit the penalty option here. And then hit next. I could have put a tackler. So it was a holding penalty on Kenai Central. So let's go to holding, 10 yards. And from the line of scrimmage, the line of scrimmage was the 40. It's going to bring the ball back to the 30. And let's hit next. And let's go down here. It was 1st and 10. Now it's 1st and 20. Yankovic run the ball 8 yards to the 48. But there was holding on Kenai Central for 10 yards from the KC 40 to the KC 30. Now, I mentioned earlier, if there's a penalty enforced from the line of scrimmage, those stats do not get recorded in the stat book. And that's correct. So even though it says Al Yankovic ran 8 yards, if we were to go into the live scoring, or sorry, go to the drop down and go to stats, those stats would not show up here. You'll see Al Yankovic does not have a rush. The only reason we would do that, you could just enter it straight from the home screen here as kind of like a dead ball penalty that overrides the play. But the main reason I made that an option was for those who aren't at the game. If you're following along with the play-by-play and the game cast, it gives you a more sense of a feel of what's happening with the game. So it wasn't a dead ball 10-yard penalty. It was an actual 8-yard run, but it got negated by a penalty. So again, in the stat book, it's all the same, but it makes people feel like they're at the game a little bit more. So the last kind of penalty we're going to go over is one of the spot a foul. So again, this is one of those spot a fouls where Here, let's go into the play first. Let's go spot a foul. Oh, sorry. Mr. Rogers is going to run the ball. And let's say Mr. Rogers runs the ball for a touchdown, but there is also a penalty. Basically, there's going to be a holding somewhere in the middle that's going to bring the ball back. Now, obviously, when we talk statistically speaking, if I were to run the ball to the end zone, but a penalty was at the 20 to bring the ball back, I would only get credit to running the ball to the 20. So if you wanted to, it would be easier for you, and you'll see in a second, if you just put the run play to the 20 and do the penalty from the end of play. You're more than welcome to do that. But again, from a play-by-play perspective, for those who aren't there, if you want a more accurate play-by-play, he did run for a touchdown, but it got called back because there was a penalty to 20. And you'll see how we do that in just a second. So it was a touchdown and penalty. Make sure you press the penalty button. Make sure you press that penalty button. I'm going to hit next. There could have been a tackle. Actually, there wouldn't have been a tackle because there was a touchdown there. So here, the penalty was on Kenai Central. I'm going to put holding. And then I'm going to choose spot a foul. Now, earlier you noticed there was only one football field on here that was just the enforced two. Because we knew what the enforced from was. It was either the line of scrimmage or the end of play. But the enforced two is now just part of it. If we choose spot a foul, we can say, where did that penalty happen? So that penalty actually happened on the 20, and it's going to get marked off to the 30. So this runner will only get rushing red cart yards to the 20, and then it'll be a 10-yard penalty. Let's go ahead and hit next. And you'll see here that it did not give them a score. It did result in a first down because it was a really long run, but it did not give them a touchdown. And so that's basically what I want to show you with the penalty screen. You have the line of scrimmage penalties, the spot of foul penalties, and the end of play. Typically, line of scrimmage and end of play are going to be the ones that are the easiest to do. You don't have to ever use spot of foul, but again, it can give you a little bit more sense of the game if you want to use that. So I hope this video helped. Thanks. Have a good one.